Hello and welcome to Connect. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. On today's show, we'll feature Adele Kulyk, who will present us with some healthcare options, as well as Stevenson Finlay from Australia talking about the sport of rugby. As always, we'd like to connect with you.
Tweet us at Shaw TV Saskatoon. Find us on Facebook or email shawtvconnect@shaw.ca. You can also watch previous interviews on Shaw TV's YouTube channel at youtube.com/ShawTV Saskatoon.
Sometimes families face some challenges when looking at the healthcare system, and for many who've not been involved, it can be a bit of a process and learning curve. Adele Kulyk is the CEO of Global Healthcare Connections, and I've asked her to come today and help us learn a little bit about her and what she does. So Adele, thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me here today on Connect, Randy. It's a pleasure.
Tell us a bit about yourself. Maybe we'll start there, and what your background is and how you came to be involved with Global Healthcare Connections.
Sure. I'm a born and raised Saskatchewan girl. My background is in sales and marketing, and I sort of transitioned into a role of research when I found myself in a position where I had family and friends who had unmet needs within the healthcare system. Just by way of default, I had time to be able to do research, and I was able to make some real life-changing connections for those family and friends. And so that led me through different conversations with individuals to realize that there's a bit of a gap within healthcare services, and that people often need assistance navigating so that they can have a more seamless transition into good health care. And that may be by way of getting a referral to a different specialist here within Saskatchewan or within Canada, or it might mean that they need to look outside of our provincial and national borders of Canada, seeking health care options in a global context.
I can say honestly that I haven't had a night in a hospital, so I can't imagine the process, but I keep hearing. I think that's one of the reasons I asked you to come on today, was because of the stories you had told. When you hear people who don't have any background knowledge of what they need to do or how they need to navigate through the system, what is it that you do that would help me find my way through if I was in need of I have a sore hip, or I need a hip replacement or a knee replacement? What would my options be?
Well, and I have a really great case study right now because my mother needs a double knee replacement. And so she went to her GP and was given a referral, and the specialist she was referred to was a 2-year wait time for surgery. And so what we did was we researched into what was available in Saskatchewan and got her GP to give her a referral to a different orthopedic specialist so that she actually was in and had a consult within 4 weeks. That's an amazing difference for her. And it makes a great difference in both her quality of life and how she's able to manage with the situation until she is a surgical candidate. For other people, it may mean that they wish to travel. So if they can't get their surgery, I just had a phone call this morning from a gentleman who's waiting for up to 52 weeks for his hip surgery. And so what he's decided to do is travel outside of Canada for that surgery. In those cases, we connect with our network that we've developed in a global context, specialists all over the world, and we meet with the individual here in Saskatchewan or within Canada to find out where they're comfortable to travel to and where they may consider having their surgery done. So in this gentleman's case, he's looking for someone very specialized, and he'll be traveling to Belgium in January for a hip replacement with one of the world's leading orthopedic specialists, and quite comfortable in doing that.
I was just going to say that that has to be a big relief from the client focus when we see someone who may be sitting at home, and it may give them a quality of life as opposed to being on meds for pain management and so on, to actually go ahead with that actual surgery and give them the quality of life and independence that you would think that they would like to enjoy.
Absolutely, and for many individuals, it also gets them back to work, pain-free. So that comes into play as well for people. We also find ourselves having done a lot of study and working towards certification in nutritional counseling, cancer coaching, and navigation, because we find a lot of individuals that when faced with a diagnosis of cancer, they just really, those are, I think, the hardest words to ever hear, being delivered a message that you have a cancer diagnosis. And it sends everybody reeling, and it's really difficult to keep your head on your shoulders and to be able to, take your own emotions outside of looking at to see what your options are and whether or not everything that might be available to you for options of treatment is being presented, and that you understand what it is that you're looking at in terms of treatment. We've had many individuals travel to Germany, Thailand, Mexico for treatment, and while that may not be realistic for everyone, we've also made a difference in the lives of individuals by doing some research in the area of their specific cancer diagnosis and being able to present them with options that are available in Canada, that they can get a referral from their own oncologist once the information is presented, and that's been of tremendous value to our clients that we've served.
Does it include things, I would imagine, after there's been some invasive surgeries? Is there reconstructive type surgeries or places that people would go for orthopedics or getting outfitted with, I won't say bionic hands and arms, but with any prosthetics that would help them still function in everyday life and get back to work, for an example?
Certainly there are. And each individual that comes to us, really we see people on a case-by-case basis, because no two people have the same situation and no two people have the same needs. And so really what we're doing is navigating healthcare and making a very personalized connection for those individuals and clients that we serve. As far as robotics and those types of things, we can certainly research that for an individual. We spend a lot more time in the areas of orthopedics with hips and knees, with oncology, making referrals for cancer treatment or researching that for an individual, and with things like, I call it the fun side of what we do, and that would be dental treatments at a reduced cost with high professionals in countries where you'd save money and be able to make a vacation out of it at the same time. And for those individuals that come to us and do choose to travel, we offer very comprehensive services. That means that we will look after a full itinerary, booking the travel, communicating with the medical professionals abroad. And of course, it's very important for anyone who's considering a healthcare decision that they have their general practitioner involved. Any other doctors that they need in the continuum of care should be advised and be able to provide their input as well. We need to look to those doctors for their support for an individual. And so oftentimes we even prepare information or dialogue to present to a general practitioner or to a specialist for an individual so that they can formulate a conversation and have a good dialogue with their doctors here at home, who are very important in doing follow-up care.
So you would be more of a link between the diagnosis, if you will, and then the need to perhaps expedite some of the time and waiting. I can't imagine being dealt a diagnosis and then having to put up with the pain and the nausea that might go with the meds and everything like that, the side effects. Making that link, how do you determine where people should go? I guess you present a list of options for them and let them decide? Correct,
Randy. We do. And we've got established network that is a global network. So first of all, it's important to know whether or not the procedure is available within Canada, because that's always a preference, to stay here if we can. If the procedure is not available in Canada, then we'll discuss options as far as the destination with a patient or an individual. And in most cases, they're seeking very specialized care. And so they're traveling to where that specialized care is. Often it's Germany or Switzerland, and it's in conjunction with a university hospital over there, very highly recognized, and those that are physicians and specialists that are leading the way in clinical studies and offering those services to patients internationally.
So when someone goes and gets the treatment elsewhere and comes back, obviously their general practitioner, their doctor, family doctor, is entrusted with their care again. What's the uptake from the general population in terms of approaching you? Do they say, gosh, I need to get, I'm a farmer and I need to get back on the field in spring, so I can't wait for my July appointment? Do you see that type of timing in terms of what's available, meeting the needs of when I have a family or a job to get back to?
Well, we see the needs, and we'll go back to orthopedics or something like that because it's very easy for many to relate to. And that is just that if you're in pain, your quality of life is compromised. And so in order for a person to get back to their better quality of life and get back to their everyday activities, and sometimes for individuals that also means work, get back to work, then time is, of the essence. And so the longer you're in pain, the longer the situation, may exacerbate and complications may arise. And so we try to assist individuals at getting the medical care as quickly as possible and coming home with a follow-on care, including their general practitioner, physiotherapy, whatever may be necessary, as directed by their specialist abroad.
So I'm going to role play a bit with you, if I could, and say that I've been diagnosed with the need for a hip replacement.
Yes.
What would I do? How would I get a hold of you, or what would be my next step?
Sure. You would get a hold of me here at globalhealthcareconnections.com, or you can give us a call, 306-974-2470. We would start with a conversation, and then we would either meet in person or via electronic methods we would communicate, and we would get your authorization to both collect and disseminate your medical history. We would have a conversation about where you may be comfortable traveling or whether or not there are available services to you in Canada. Okay. Because believe it or not, we do have quite the services that are available privately here in Canada that many people aren't aware of. And so it may be a trip to BC or it might be surgery in Montreal. And then we make an inquiry on your behalf and we submit your case to the surgeons or the surgical group, and they have a medical committee that does a review of your medical history, any imaging and diagnostics that you have, and we can also assist you in getting that imaging and diagnostic, the reports, and anything on CD. And we communicate that information, and then they would come back with a treatment plan and a cost and a timeline for you. At that point, it's your option and your decision whether or not you'd like to move forward to, partake in private healthcare services.
Well, I will do my part to stay healthy, but in the event that I do need to use your services, I appreciate the fact that you're there, and I want to thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you, Randy. Many people say that as well. It's good to know of you. We hope we never need you, but, just remember me and our company, Global Healthcare Connections, if you ever find yourself having trouble navigating healthcare.
Appreciate
we're
that
here to
so
help.
Much. Thank you, Adele.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah. We'll be right back.